I just sat here for 30 full seconds because I couldn't think of how I wanted to start this video. And the reason I couldn't figure out how I wanted to start the video is because I know that we're about to read about these two absolute fuckheads talking about having a baby. We are going to read the most depressing, I'm just not in the mood for it. Now, please pardon the weird camera angle tonight. I'm still in the process of unpacking from our aborted move, and there are some boxes that are in the spot where my chair usually is when I film these. So pardon this angle, but this is the angle I'm going to start using for my Buffy and other video recaps. So, you know, get used to it. It'll be more like this and less like straight on from the side. Anyway, if my mouth is all red, it's because I am drinking Kool-Aid, because I get to have Kool-Aid as a little treat when I'm reading this nonsense, this horrible nonsense. And also, I'm in terrible, terrible pain this evening, so I am going to be getting, as the children say, faded. I deserve to be, because I'm reading this book. The Misses. Chapter 23. Alessia gasps and stares back into bright green eyes, totally blindsided. A baby? She squeaks. Please, please, please let her tell him no. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging, I'm begging. I just turned the page. That was the bottom of the page. I'm begging for her to be like, absolutely not. He plants a soft kiss at the corner of her mouth. Yes, a boy. He kisses her again. I forgot to do the accent. Then a girl. Kiss. Then another boy. Kiss. And another girl. He kisses the other side of her mouth. Alessia giggles. 4 children? I'm not sure it works like that. You know, nobody fucking cares. Nobody fucking cares, because you know what? Nobody cares how this is going right now, because she didn't say no. That's a fucking bad idea. Okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens on this page. It does not. None of it matters. Not a damn thing matters, because she didn't say no. Okay, the amount of just silent despair that I'm going to have to cut out of this one. This might be a 2-battery one, and it'll still come up, and it'll be like, you know, what, they're like usually around 30-40 minutes. It'll still come up on there as like 30 or 40 minutes, but it'll just, you know, there'll be 2 full fucking hours of me just gazing in horror at my Kindle. I'm not wearing my glasses. I just realized I don't have my glasses in here, so we're just winging it like close to the face style, I guess. I like subconsciously forgot my glasses because I didn't want to be able to see to read. My brain was protecting itself from trauma. He calls her funny and talented. Like, I guess at making bread and getting banged on a kitchen counter. Like, then he says he wants breakfast, because she's like, oh, can I take a shower first? And he's like, I would rather have breakfast or something. And it's like, then make your own fucking breakfast. And then he wants her to cook breakfast bottomless, so, you know, fry some bacon with your cooter out, I guess. I want babies. Lots of them. I thought, he swallows. I thought that maybe with Kit and his condition, that... Oh, Maxim, Alessia whispers, realizing that this is another reason he's been so preoccupied. She leans in, bringing her lips to his, and kisses him, a sweet, remorseful kiss. All the worry, and she never knew. 'Cause he didn't tell you. It's not your fault. I don't know. And we still have not said no to the fucking terrible baby idea. Wow. By the way, yeah, I did hear my cat doing that. I absolutely heard that the whole time. He tells her, like, let's go out to breakfast, and she's like, I like making breakfast for you, Maxim. Like, I like making breakfast for you, rich husband who can afford all these servants. But since I was your servant to begin with, I'll just keep on being your servant because I love to do it so much. This is a real book that got published. This book got published in 2023. I think, right? Maybe 2023. Oh, okay. They say they're gonna go have breakfast, and then they're gonna talk about the baby at breakfast. And then there's a section break. Okay. Alessia's fingers make patterns in my hair as we lie in bed, spent, replete, together. My head is on her stomach. I turn and kiss the soft skin of her belly and allow myself a little fantasy that it's swollen with our child. That is the grossest sentence I've ever heard. Alessia doesn't have the same sense of urgency as I do. She doesn't realize that I'm trying to bind her to me in any way I can, but we've talked and she's right. She's young and wants to see a little of the world before we embark on babies. We all heard that sentence, right? She doesn't realize I'm trying to bind her to me in any way I can. Wow. 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 Just saying it. Just putting it out there. I'm trying to trap her with a baby. Wow. No. I need some Kool-Aid. I need a gallon of Kool-Aid. It's not even like real Kool-Aid. I keep saying Kool-Aid. It's like Great Value powdered fruit punch drink mix because broke is a temporary thing and poverty is a permanent state of mind. I was so excited because accidentally I touched the screen and it selected some text and one of the options it gave me was delete. And I was like, oh, that'll cause so many problems to just evaporate. And what it meant was like the note that you could, yeah. So he's laying there. Okay, think about it. Think about this next part from Alessia's POV. Okay, they're laying there. They just had sex. After, by the way, skipping over an intensely important scene that we should have seen on the page. I'm not 100% sure that E.L. James didn't write this book and then it was like twice as long as this and they were like, you need to cut some stuff, some unnecessary scenes. And so she went through and then she cut the scenes, but she like sent the wrong file. Like she sent the file full of the shit that she deleted. I don't know if that's what happened, but that is going to be my guess from now on because she skipped over the conversation about whether or not they would have a baby and just made a little note of it in this post-sex scene where there wasn't a sex scene. But on top of that, please take this awful mental journey with me and imagine that you are Alessia. You have just finished having sex. You're laying there in Maxim's arms. You're thinking about how much you want to do chores, I assume. He's thinking, I wonder what my mother would make of being a grandmother. I sigh. I have no idea how I'll repair that relationship. Do I want to? What is it? Alessia asks. I'm just thinking about my mother. What would you do? What would you do? If you're laying there, you've just boned down with your partner, and you're like, what is it? And they're like, oh, I was thinking about my mother. I would be like, I didn't realize you were Catholic. I'm genuinely having such a good time here because I am so relieved that they are not going to have a baby. Shit, they are going to have a baby. They are accidentally going to get pregnant. That is going to become the fucking conflict, the next conflict that pops up that doesn't get dealt with. She's gonna get fucking pregnant. She's gonna get pregnant. Alessia stiffens beneath me. Shit. Did she say something horribly dreadful to you? No, dude, she's probably stiffening up because you said the most creepiest possible answer right after having sex, and she's like, what is it, okay? Like, I can't think of anything creepier. I think maybe if you said, I don't know, I was thinking about, I literally can't come up with something creepier that he could have been thinking of in that moment. Like, we know from inside his head what the thought process was, right? Because we're inside his head. So we know that it goes, she doesn't want to have babies. Oh, I wonder what my mom would think of being a grandma. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking about my mom. But Alessia is not gonna see those thoughts. Oh my god. This is gonna be a 2-battery one. This is gonna be a 2-battery one. So Alessia tells him about the conversation that she had with his mom, but she sticks up for his mom because she's like, she was acting in your best interest, except for she can't think of the word interest, you know, because she has that sort of like transient English capability where like sometimes she can speak English and sometimes she can't, and sometimes there are things called clever phones and magic cards or whatever. She did come here and had the courage to tell you and your sister face to the face about your brother. Well, that's putting a positive slant on what happened, but I suppose you're right. I offer her a smile, and it's face to face. Alessia grins. There he is, my English teacher. She knew how to speak English before she met him. Her grandma spoke English and apparently taught her English. Didn't she think she was going to become an English teacher when she was going to go to that school or something? She speaks English. This is... it's so xenophobic. It's so dishearteningly awful. There's a section break after they talk about the mother stuff. I'm not going to cover the mother stuff because it's legitimately just the same conflict. It's him saying, you know, bad things about his mother and them talking about how evil his mother is. And it's the same conversation that we've seen over and over. There is a section break then, and they have to go down the fire escape to escape the reporters outside the building because they're the Beatles now. And then they're on the way to the London Academy of Social Etiquette and Graces. They're in the car and she notices a building and he's like, that's the Natural History. Like, he starts giving her a fucking tour of London, right? That's the Natural History Museum. We should go. Beside it is the Science Museum. Many a Saturday afternoon was spent there. Our nanny at the time had a passion for science, but it has a great place for kids to play and explore. Alessia grins. One day we will take our children. Maxim glances at her. Or the nanny will. He finds and fondles her knee. Nanny? Alessia had not thought that they might have help with childcare. So they get to this place. I wonder if it's a real place. I'm not gonna look it up. I don't care if it is. But they go to this how to be a snob class, and he drops Alessia off. Oh my god. Oh my god, we have to enroll with her. We have to enroll with Alessia in the school. Okay, she goes in to the building. We go up to the reception desk and Alessia asks, you know, where the academy is. And then they're like, up to the first floor, registrations are the first door on the left. And then she goes to a door upstairs. She finds the door to the place, and then this woman introduces herself as Belinda Donaldson and says they'll be checking in. We have to go through registration with her. They had a conversation about whether or not they were going to have a baby. This is a romance novel. They had a conversation about whether or not they were going to have a baby. It was not on the page. We are now having to go through the admissions process at etiquette school. But we didn't get to see the others. I am begging people to get better taste. Stop making writers like this like super freaking famous and making them believe that they should keep doing this. This is not what anyone should be doing. No one should be doing this. This is a crime against nature and the written word. And then she meets somebody named Tabitha. I assume Maxim will have fucked her. Maxim is at work and he can't concentrate because he's thinking about the thing about like how his brother was like somebody else's kid. And he's wondering if his sister is angry with him. I suppose I prompted the fallout and didn't tell Marianne about Kit's genetic counseling. I thought he did. I vaguely remember being angry at him because, and at Marianne because he told her about the genetic testing. And I was like mad that they didn't just do it and like his sister didn't come up with the, please tell me that I'm, did I make that up? Or was there, I feel like there was a scene where they talked on the phone and he told her that Kit was having genetic counseling, and I wondered why she didn't just say, let's do the genetic testing on you, and if there's anything there. I swear that happened. I don't even care. Oh my god, at this point, I don't care. There's another section break. He goes to that mansion that he's having refurbished, and of course Carolyn is there because she's apparently in charge of decorating the house that Maxim will share with his wife. Then we go back to the school. Basically what happens is that they come in and Caroline is like, there's stuff that we can do to this place that will look nice, and we'll talk about it while we walk through the house. And she says that he's just like Kit, and then he like has Kit feelings, and we go back to Alessia at the school. I just want everybody to see, I know that I have this kind of turned up, but do you see any indents on this? Do you see how many? I just want you to see. I want you to look at that, okay? Like, it's pretty big and the spacing is pretty big, but that's still a lot of words to be one big block-ass paragraph like that. This is what this scene, we go from a section break to this scene. This is the scene. Alessia is paying attention to Jennifer Knight, their social etiquette instructor and the owner of the school. And our mission is to empower all of you to present your best selves. Wait, I could do another accent for this. And our mission is to empower all of you to present your best selves. You'll have the confidence to walk into any room and know exactly how to behave. From the boardroom to the banqueting hall, you'll be equipped to handle any work and social situation. We'll start with the basics. Introductions, both formal and informal, what forms of address you should use, and while mainly focusing on British etiquette, we'll touch on cultural differences that you should be aware of to make those you meet and greet feel respected and comfortable in your presence. Jennifer gives the class a broad smile. If you'll turn to the first page in your workbook, we can begin. Alessia does just that, or Alessia does exactly that, while Tabitha is trying and failing not to look bored. Oh my god, Tabitha, same! Section break! By the way, that was that full scene. Section break! So, I just wanna... We got there. She went in. We got registered. We went to a section break to see Maxim think about his brother a little bit. Then we went to a section break so we could see that. Or so that we could see Alessia meet somebody, and then I don't remember. It's not important. The important thing is, this is fucking indecipherable. This is unhinged in a way I have never experienced in a book in my life. This is... If this was a fanfic, I might have started bullying this author. I would bully someone for giving me this for free, okay? The fact that I paid for it, it was a business expense. I wrote it off as a loss. After a section break, Carolyn is like, do you want to grab a coffee? And like Oliver is right there, and she's like, would you like to grab a coffee? And then Oliver is just standing there, and she's like, I'll see you back at the office, Oliver. Like, what the fuck? They go out for coffee, like you do with the woman that you used to bang, that your wife is really not comfortable with you spending time with. You definitely let her decorate the house that you're going to live in with your wife, and you go out and get coffee with her alone. So she asks if he talked to his mom about the genetic stuff, and he's thinking that he hasn't come to terms with it yet. He's not ready to talk about it yet. She's like demanding that he tell her something about it, and he tries to be vague, right? He tries to be vague that like there's nothing to worry about. And she's like, you're not telling me things. And then she's like, I'm trying to organize Kit's memorial, and you won't confirm the date, and Rowena is not taking my calls, is the line. I'm trying to organize Kit's memorial service, and you won't confirm the date, and Rowena is not taking my calls. So I just want to point out that his brother's death is so recent that they haven't had the memorial yet. And in the space of time between his brother's death and having a memorial for him, this fucker has rescued someone from human trafficking, or just, I guess, being kidnapped back to Albania, or I don't know what you'd call that situation with Anatoly, but he rescued a girl from that and then married her in the time between his brother dying and his brother's memorial service. The timeline of this book is absolutely, it is a mountain. It is a mountain of impossibility. It is a absolute pile of absurdity. This timeline for this book might be the worst thing I've ever read. I don't want to say that because then I know that she's going to write another fucking book. Nobody really will talk to Carolyn. I kind of get it. But she can't get a hold of Marianne. She's trying to do this whole thing. She's like, hey, Maxim, can we talk about like the memorial service that I'm trying to plan? And he's like, yeah, whenever. Like, what about right now when you just went out to coffee? Like, why don't you talk about that? Instead, what he talks about is that, like, what she said to Charlotte at that party that he was at where that woman kissed him. Charlotte's the woman that kissed him. Incidentally, what did you say to Charlotte Hampshire at Dimitri's party? Nothing, she says far too quickly and holds my gaze, but I'm not sure I believe her. Caro, I arch a brow in warning. What did you say? That's in italics, not quotes. Is this about the photograph? It's everywhere. Are you in trouble? Was that your intention? To cause trouble between Alessia and me? I glare at her and the temperature between us drops to below 0. Carolyn's eyes widen. No! Why would I do that? She says in a gush of faux indignation. Is that what you think? Caro, I don't know what to think, but Alessia and I are fine. Stop interfucking-fearing, or there will be consequences. What are you gonna do, spank her? That's like exactly what she wants you to do, bro. Then he also says that there's weird energy between her and Oliver, and I'm like, yeah, I guess, because she was just like, hey, get out of here, I want to go have coffee with this guy, but you're not invited, even though you're standing right there. Then we've got a break, a section break. Tabitha, says like, you know, let's go get a drink because the thing is over. The etiquette lesson, the course is over, right? She thinks about like, she's like, this is like a stranger who's asking me to go for a drink, but you know, Tabitha's my own age, it'll probably be fine. I'm sitting here like this bitch is about to get kidnapped again. But she's thinking like Maxim won't mind. And I don't know if she goes for the drink because the scene ends. My phone buzzes. It's a text from Marianne. Finally. I'm in Seattle. Will text when home. Not Seattle. Please, God, not Seattle. Please. Please. Not Seattle. I I feel like I've had the wind knocked out of me. What is she doing in Seattle? Has she gone to see that guy she met when she went skiing? I daren't ask. Oh God. Oh God, did Christian Grey have a brother who didn't try to kill him? Oh my God, how? Is this that Christian dumped Catherine and now this Marianne's gonna get, not Christian, what's his brother's name? Elliot or Mr. Confederate Soldier dude? Jensen Ackles? Not Jensen Ackles. Jackson Rathbone? Is it Jackson Rathbone? Is his brother Jackson Rathbone? Look, here's the thing. I can't handle, like, if this becomes a crossover, I don't know what in the Sarah J. Maas I'm gonna fucking do. Okay, I know that so far this chapter has been pretty light on the thing that we all came here for, and that was, like, aristocracy and titles and shit, right? We all are, like, obsessed with that, just like these people are. So, just so you know, Marianne texts him, Maxie, it was you all along, not Kit. What? That's him texting back. The earldom. It was yours. My scalp prickles. It was me all along. I was the Viscount. Then the Earl. Not Kit. Then he texts her again. That's hard to hear. I know, heart emoji. But it was you, Maxie. It was always you. Remember that. Poor Kit, finding out like that. He must have been furious. Wow! Okay, so they're like, she's like, I wonder what he had, you know, that genetic condition that made him, like, want to kill himself, right? This is Maxim's response. Something awful, I suspect. I don't want to know. Poor man. Yes, maybe you're right. We loved him. We did. I'll be back later this week. We can talk then. I've got to get up. We're going sailing on a super duper catamaran. They find out that he is not their, like, full brother. He's a half brother. And they are talking about him like he is a stranger. And then, I'm going to go on a super duper catamaran. What? Oh my God, these people. Oh my God, these people. I understand not wanting to know, like, the cause of someone's death, right? And I understand, but they're like, he's done. Like, Kit was this big loss to them, and now they're not even returning phone calls about the memorial to his widow. And then they're like, oh, super duper catamaran. My family has been obsessed with bloodline since the earldom was created in the 1600s. You know, this is kind of weird. This is just my line of thought here. Is it possible that your family was obsessed with bloodlines because they are literally nobility? Could that have something to do with it? He gets texts from Alessia. I'm going to a bar with a woman I met on my course. I will try not to be late. Alarm tightens my chest. I'm not sure how I feel about Alessia on the loose in London with a stranger. Carolyn's words from earlier come back to me. For heaven's sake, Maxim, she's a grown woman. Yes, but she's led a sheltered, claustrophobic life. I've seen it. I lived it for a week. I've lived it for a week? So anyway, Alessia is out there making friends with someone. Making a new friend in a city where she doesn't have any friends. And so what Maxim does is say, well, can I join you? And she's like, yes. So she doesn't actually get to spend any time alone with the new friend. Maxim's coming. Now see, this is actually an improvement on 50 Shades of Grey, where he would have, like, just traced her phone or like something, or geolocated her and tracked her down and just been there even though she said not to come. So there's some growth here. There's some growth. They're having their drink, and we learn about Tabitha and the degree she has, and that she took a gap year going through Kenya and Tanzania. And, you know, Alessia doesn't mention that she's been human trafficked before, because I assume it would just be a downer. And then this happens. Oh, look! Maxim Trevelyan just arrived, or should I say Maxim Trevithick now. Oh! Alessia turns to see Maxim scanning the room. I've not met him, but my sisters know him. You know, in the biblical sense. Alessia's spirits sink. They're twins. Are you just straight up saying that, like, your sisters, like, banged each other? Like, because I'm sorry, if they are involved in a three-way with this dude, they are still having sex together. This is an incest thing. Like, perhaps you need to make a burner account on Reddit to get those feelings out. I heard he's married, though I know nothing about the lucky woman who bagged him. Maxim spies Alessia and his face lights up with what she suspects is relief. Oh my god, he's coming over here. Alessia turns to Tabitha. Maxim Trevithick is my husband. Tabitha chokes on her gin. Oh my god. And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry about what, you know, I said or whatever. And she's like, that's okay. He sits down with them and Tabitha's like, I should be leaving. So Alessia was having this lovely drink, this interaction with a new friend, and he shows up and just ruins it. The friend leaves. Then he asks if she wants to go out to eat, because that has to happen a minimum of like 60 times per chapter, I guess. Then there's a section break, and we're back in his POV, and they're in a cab. They've already had dinner. There's still a lot of talking about his mother. There's a ton of reporters at their door when they get back. She grabs my lapels, then slides her hands around the nape of my neck, dragging my lips to hers. To a blaze of flash photography, she presses her body to mine and kisses me properly, her tongue insistent and possessive. It's ... hot, and it takes me by surprise. When we move apart, we're both winded. She pushes open the door, and without a glance at the cheered crowd, she ushers me into the building. And then there's a section break, and they have just had sex again. So we're at the point in this book where we don't even get the sex scenes. Not that those were a highlight, right? But we're at the point in this book where we don't even get sex scenes anymore. We skip straight over them. All we get is the in-between when things happen that in a romance novel should be furthering either the relationship at the core of the story or furthering the plot. Those things are missing. We get all of the pieces around them that should be cut out. I feel like I am hallucinating. So they've just had sex. He starts talking about his father. He just starts talking about, like, how his family history. He just starts talking about how her mother favored Kit and his father was always like his champion. And then he starts talking about Uncle Cameron. And then Maxim says that his relationship with his mom was bad already and he doesn't see it getting better. Like, he doesn't see them coming back from this. And Alessia is like, okay, well, they will come back from this because, you know, she's still his mother, right? And that's the end of the chapter. And I legitimately feel like there's I'm gonna check the batteries in my carbon monoxide detectors tonight because there is something wrong. There is no way that this book is like this. There is something, I am inhaling something, I am being poisoned by something, there is some kind of mushroom living in the walls of this house, something sending out spores that are affecting my brain that are making me believe that I'm reading this, but actually it's all some elaborate delusion where my brain is filling in the gaps and the actual parts of the story are there. I think I'm just gonna sit and stare into middle distance for a while. Anyway, if you would like to escape into a world of fantasy that's like actually like fantasy and not just like what you would fantasize about if you were incredibly boring, if you were a terribly boring person, it's like fantasy, like the genre, not like daydreams of how great it would be to be a housekeeper for some guy, okay? My book is either out or about to be out, depending on when I get this posted. You can pre-order it. You can pre-order it in ebook or in paperback. It is called the OGRE'S Fairy Tale Bride. It is a fantasy book. It is a romantasy book. So go pick it up anywhere. It's on a lot of websites. You know, you could go to your Barnes & Noble and ask them, hey, can you order me this paperback? And they will say, absolutely, I can order you this paperback. So if you shop at Barnes & Noble and you go there, that would be a great thing to do because that puts me on the radar, right? Anyway, that's out February 29th. If it's not, you know, like I said, it's either out or it's about to be out, depending on when this thing posts. Yeah, so other than that, check the, check the description box for links to where you can pre-order it at some of the major retailers. And other than that, check the description box where you can see you can go to Patreon, and we're reading Model Land over on Patreon, and there's also a continuation of the Fablemere series, which this is the Fablemere series. There's a continuation of that called The Vampire's Willing Captive that is posting to Patreon and Ream and Kindle Vella. There are links to those in the description box. So yeah, I'm gonna finish off this Kool-Aid. I'm gonna just get a nice, you know, 100-yard stare going on, and really gonna rethink about whether or not literacy was a good choice for me. And I'll catch you on the flip side.